The second screen that you can use to post charges in Advanced MD is up on the toolbar, the third green button called the Quick Charge Entry. Now, just like the charge slip screen, you'll have a column over here with list of patients. If there are no patients listed there, it may be for one of two reasons. One, you may have the wrong date selected, so in this case, no patients were scheduled today on December 31st, and two, is that the patients were scheduled today, but somebody's already posted the charges, in which case, again, once you post charges, just like the online charge slip, they'll be removed from the column here. In which case, for this example, I have December 8th that I know still has charges outstanding or that I haven't posted to the patients here. In fact, if you want to do a missed visits report to find out how many patients that don't have any charges posted, you can go under the Reports menu, down to Appointments, over and down, and click on Missed Visits. Set your low and high dates. In fact, I want to do it for the whole year. So let's do January 1st, 2005 to December 31st, and then click Generate, and this will give me a list of all the patients this past year who have been scheduled but haven't been dismissed or haven't had charges posted. And you can see I've got actually 3 pages here, and I'll keep scrolling down. And the biggest one, the culprit here, is August 24th. I have a whole slew of patients that maybe I forgot to post charges to, in which case you can go ahead and print this report out, and we can go to August 24th in our Quick Charge Entry screen, change it to August, and then you'll see the list there. So all I have to do now is start posting charges and select one of the patients here, and all the information populates over to the right. Here's a red flag for me. Anytime I see the full fee schedule, the financial class come up, that's an Advanced MD default. In other words, either the front office or the biller hasn't changed the financial class to reflect whether the patient's a self-pay or is insured. So for Jeff Brad, I need to do a little research on him, and to do so, I'll pull up the patient. We'll go to the patient demographics here, type in Brad for the last name and hit the tab key, double click on Jeff. Yeah, and in fact, the full fee schedule is here, as it's shown in our Quick Charge Entry screen. You can see down below that there's no insurance here, so let's pretend that he's a self-pay. I can double click and delete this, click the ellipsis button, and choose my self-pay, and click Save. Now if I make any changes here, and then I close out and I go back to my Quick Charge Entry screen, it's not going to reflect here. Probably a good idea will be to refresh that, and then click on Jeff Brad again, and then it'll pull in the correct financial class. So make sure if you're in a screen, you go out, you make any changes, come back and refresh it so you're not stuck with something that's stale that you've already changed. Start entering in your procedure codes, either type them in and then hit the tab key, and if they're not in the system, you'll get a blank box just like this, in which case you can do one of two things. You can either go back and import the procedure code, which is recommended because it includes the AMA description, or you can click Add New. Type in the procedure code, the AMA description, or the display, set all the defaults, and click Save. And when you're done saving it, it'll populate here. If not, click the search button again because you already have your procedure code number here. Double click on it and it will pull here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that procedure code, click the ellipsis button, and then pull up one here by double clicking on it. The fee, since I don't have my fee schedule set up, I'll have to type in a fee for this particular procedure code and then hit the tab key. We have the diagnosis. Click on it and choose one, or type one in and be sure and hit the tab key. Do another one here. Next is the units. Right now it's set to 1, and it's units times the fee to equal the total fee. So 1 times the fee, 125, is still the total fee of the same 125. If we change that to 2 units, after we click Add, the total fee will be $250. If you don't want to increase the total fee but to increase the units, you can type in 2 and then have the asterisk right after it. But in this case, since I do want to increase the fee, I'll leave it just as 2. Next, if this is an inpatient, you want to make sure that the date of service is also entered in the extra insurance screen. At the very least, you want to make sure the hospitalization from and to is the same data service that the doctor is posting charges for. It's a little bit easier on the insurance companies if you know exactly when the patient was hospitalized. For example, our data service is August 24th. If we knew the patient's been in there since maybe July 1st, then put that as the from, and then the to date will be up into the day that you're posting charges for that data service, which would be August 24th. And then be sure to save your work. But since this is a self-pay, I'm going to click clear and close out. But if it wasn't, you click save, you come back out here. Make sure finally that the place of service and type of service is correct. As you recall, your procedure code, when you imported them, had the defaults. So if all of a sudden this changed and the place of service was no longer office, but maybe an assisted living facility, or actually was an inpatient psychiatric facility or hospital, choose that. The defaults are fine. And then also you can change the type of service. When you're finished, go ahead and click your Add button. It adds the procedure code down below, and now you're ready to enter or add another charge. You can use the same diagnosis codes or delete them and then enter in a new set here. And then if there's no other changes here except the fee that I need to type in and make sure that's correct, we can go ahead and click Add again. And as you can see down here, that the fee was 125, but it was multiplied by the units too to equal 250. Now let's say that I want to make changes to these charges before I click the process button. When we click the process, it'll actually post the charges. So I'm going to go back to this first charge here and double click on it to pull it up. And let's say I want to make some changes. Like for example, units is pulling up $250 because it's 2 times 125. If I don't want it to increase by 2 or multiply by 2, but just the units only, you can put in a little secret code here. In other words, hold down the shift key and hit the number 8 sign to put in the asterisk. And what that will do is it'll allow you to increase the units without increasing the fee. And then when you're done, be sure to click Add so it updates down below. And then now you can see that even though we have 2 units, it's still charging the base charge, which is 125, and not multiplying them. And then finally, after I made all the changes that I want, we can go ahead and click on the process button to post the charges. Jeff Brad is now removed from our column list here of, well, our to-do list to post charges.